Good morning, y'all. This is going to be a will it run on a 1970 Chrysler 70 horse 3-cylinder. It's basically a duplicate to the engine that I have on my boat, my VIP, which is burnt up or at least needs overhauled. Quite honestly, I have very little hope that this will actually run. I bought this motor with a boat attached to it for 150 bucks a couple of years ago. I remember when I got it, before I towed it home, I did just a quick compression check on it, and it had compression, but I don't remember how much. Probably wasn't much, or I'd have put this right on it, on the boat. But I'll let you follow along. If it will start, I'll put it on the boat and run it for a season or so, maybe less. I have a 105 horse 4-cylinder Chrysler, and it's what I want to ultimately put on the boat. It's a lot more horsepower than the 70, and the lower units basically from here down are identical. So if I'm going to pay to overhaul an engine, I'm going to pay to overhaul the 105 horse instead of running a 70. But if this happens to start, I'll slap it on the boat and run it until I have the other one built, or run it until this one blows up. But I'll let you follow along. Like I said, I give this like a 10% chance of running. And then if it does start on that 10% chance, then I would give it maybe a not better than 50-50 chance that it runs good. It's like there's a reason this boat's parked and this motor's 51 years old, so, or 50. Anyways, follow along if you want to. So this is the reason why I'm doing a will it run on this little 70 horse Chrysler. This is my 1983 VIP boat. Pretty nice little machine. The motor that's in it I bought from a guy off of Facebook Marketplace for I think 300 bucks. He even drove halfway to give it to me. Probably should have been my red flag there. Pretty good shape. I went through a few years back, did all the interior, floors. I got a trolling motor set up here on the front. Big wood deck. It's removable with 2 bolts, and I also reupholstered the seats, reupholstered all that stuff. And you can't really see good in here, but floor's been done, new seats and everything. Ski well. When I got this boat, that ski storage, well, we use it for fishing poles, was just covered right over. Had 3 layers of wood. I didn't even know it had that. It's got that plate back there, that cover, battery and fuel tanks behind it. Recovered that and everything, and seats. Anyways, it's a really nice little boat that me and my wife enjoy using. But my $300 special engine, which ran great for 3 seasons, gave out on me this summer. It's a 1970 model. It had never been cracked open as far as the bearings and all that. So first time we was running across the lake, you know, just cruise power, and it just shut off, quick cold turkey. Immediately it fired back up. I'd put a new impeller in it every year, so I don't know, I think it had gotten overheated. It's got an overheat alarm, but with it running you couldn't hear it. I did notice the year before, at the end of the season, that after you shut it down, let it sit for a minute, and turn the key back on, the heat buzzer would go off. And then as soon as you started the engine, within 10 seconds, it would go off. So I thought potentially just the impeller was going out, but clearly it had a problem. And then the problem just got worse, where it would start and then quit. It was acting like fuel starvation. So I overhauled the fuel pump and put new bulb line on it, and it didn't help. It just kept getting worse. First it would start good and then run okay, and then it just quit running. You couldn't hardly idle it, just lose power gradually the longer it ran. This one's had it's got a points distributor in it, which is cool. When I got it, it had the power pack CDI ignition, which these can be problematic in these old things. But anyways, I'll shut up. I'd troubleshot everything. I'd overhauled the carbs, checked the reed valves, everything I could think of. But finally I just pulled the head and pulled the covers off, and I mean, there's not a huge ridge line in the cylinders, but it does got some scuff marks. And the center piston, look at the difference. These kind of a little oily, and it's dry, pretty dang dry. Bottom one's kind of oily, normal looking. This is my problem cylinder, the middle one. Trying to hold this light with my neck and turn the engine. Surprisingly, the static compression on it was the same now as it was when I first got it, which is weird to me. I noticed when it was running, before it just quit running, that I was kind of getting a chuff 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 sound coming out of one of the carburetors. It's not terrible, but the problem with this cylinder, I think it had potentially had a fuel problem. I don't know. The plugs that when I pulled them out, they were all kind of that color. So kind of an overheated issue, I think. Doesn't matter. Either way, this motor's kind of toast. Not toast, but needs overhauled. So I'll show you what the bad spot on this piston. Right on the bottom. You see that? Kind of right where that light's showing. If I can get you in there better. It's scored pretty bad on top and below the ring. So I think she was pushing compression into the intake side, and see the connecting rod and the crank back there. But anyways, it's disappointing, but for a $300 motor, I got 3 seasons out of it. So I'm gonna have to pull for sure the starter off this motor, put on the other one, potentially the distributor and coil if the other one's not working, but we'll find that out soon enough. This is what we're working with here. I'd already robbed the starter off of this, but it was a complete motor. Got the carbs on it. I'm probably going to, if I get spark and it actually lights when I spray a little ether in it, I'll probably pull my other 3 carburetors off. They're in good shape. I can slap them on there. They're already brushed gaskets and all that. This thing has been a home for mud daubers for a while. It feels like it's got decent compression, or potentially just bad rusty bearings. I don't know. Who knows? No telling how long it's been parked. So my first game plan gonna be to pull the plugs out, see what, if any, compression I got on it, kind of what the numbers are. I'm gonna do it dry. Still has the factory Chrysler Magna Power injection, single coil, all factory parts, date coded original spark plug wires, 1969, coincidentally identical to the ones on my other boat. These motors are probably in the building at the same time at the factory. Let everybody have a quick look-see of the motor overall. I sold the boat, I think, for 50 bucks. So I got about 100 bucks in this motor. In any of these components, the ignition system, the distributor, carbs, there's quite a bit of money just in parts here. So if it doesn't run, I don't really care. Part it out, use it for parts. The pistons, if any of them are good, could be used to rebuild the other one or the bigger motor. They only had basically two piston sizes for most of the bigger Chrysler and Force motors. So a lot of that stuff interchanges. I'm gonna set you up on a camera and we'll get started with seeing if she's got any compression. Well, I suppose I should put the starter on first, but after that, we'll see what happens. I'm not optimistic, but I like tinkering. Still has the old surface gap spark plugs. Basically, they don't have a center electrode. This is what a lot of the early high-powered ignition system stuff had. If you do a points conversion, you have to change to the conventional electrode strap plugs. Plugs don't look bad. They look oily. Good sign. As opposed to being rusty, mortskied, or totally fuel fouled. Like I said, I did a compression check on this when I got it, so it at least had enough static compression that I called it home. That plug's a little dry. All right, I'm gonna get the compression checker. Well, that sucks. So this motor has threaded holes for the dadgum starter. A lot of them are drilled out so that you can adapt, a force starter or whatever to one of these. Well, crap. These are the starters for these. And these bolts are a much larger thread diameter than these. So the old bolts are a much smaller thread and threaded into this. So I basically have two options. I can drill these out at one size so that they'll fit these and any reman starters you could get. Makes it a lot easier to just put the nuts on the top and tighten them up than it does to try to thread them up from the bottom. It's a retarded design. I think I answered my own question. All right. See if it'll pull up. Put a little grease on there and I stepped the hole size up one size. I might end up having to step it up one more. I want to be careful because I don't want to blow out the inner webbing on that thing, starter mount, which is also part of the engine block. Go figure. Draw them up evenly. coming up. Starter came off this motor originally. It just had smaller diameter bolts. If I remember right, one of them was bent pretty bad. He's almost home. These aren't that tight. I believe that's it. It's going to be it enough to find out if she's usable or not. Can't get that bottom one in. Make sure the Bendix comes up. It does. Doesn't seem to bind. It retracts. Okay. All right, put the starter cable on. It's amazing to me how popular Will It Run videos have gotten. It's pretty entertaining. Usually fairly predictable results. But every once in a while you get something that you just can't hardly believe will run. I'll be doing a Will It Run video on that red 69 Skylark here pretty quick. But I'm just waiting on the title to get back from the state on that. And to have time to do it, but I don't want to do a bunch of work to it if I find out that I can't get a title for it. I don't expect a problem, but you never know. Carbs are a little bit gummy, but nothing's froze. I don't think it ever sat with the cover off. This beast just got in. There's a vent hole up here in the front, down here, where they can get right up in there. Let me go get my battery and jumper cables. My ignition system set up. Really anything that will be a good ground. Like that. We'll do the distributor. Here, come down to the starter. Should work. I don't have a loser switch, as Morski calls it. So what I'll do is just touch it on the battery. Okay, let's hook my compression tester up. I seem to recall that it had 120-ish, which is low really for boat motor. Should be like 150 at least. I don't know. We'll find out. None of the ignition is hooked up or anything here. We're just going straight to battery post. Some folks say you got to do wide open throttle, throttle's closed, but honestly, I've done both ways on the same motors, and it's never more than a couple of PSI difference, so don't really care. I just want to see if it's got some. See if she got compressions. All right, well, What do you think? We'll try it. Oops. $90. That's not very awe-inspiring. It's cranking awfully slow though. But it's not going to keep me from seeing if we can get this sucker to light off. I think we got a slow crank because these cheap crap jumper cables. It cranks a lot faster than that on my other motor with a lot bigger cable. Alright, on that one we're showing 110. Cranked a little faster. Probably just means that cylinder, this cylinder, I don't guess that means anything actually. Why don't I just stick my foot in my mouth? Again, 110-ish. Try the first one again. Hit the hole, buddy. It's what you're born to do. Try her again. I hit 100 that time. Not promising though. It could run. Well, guess the next step will be seeing if we get any spark. Actually, never mind. That wiring chart right here. So, got a black of ground. That'll need to be grounded to my cable. Blue ignition. Battery positive. We're not going to need heat, choke, tack, a generator, or a yellow start. So it looks like I'm going to need to jumper 2 hots and 1 ground. So I'll do that off camera. That's going to be pretty boring. Can't see what the wire colors are either. The bee nest. Okay, I'm gonna go hook it up. think you have to have a plug connected on these ignition systems, or you can burn components up. Damn it, it's on there. I'm also not confident that starter will spin this motor over with plugs in. Barely wanted to do it with one in at a time. I have to do something there too. What do I want to do with? Screwdriver. With one more wire, I'm not certain if it's got power or not. Probably doesn't. First off, I would need to see if the stinking starter is even spinning motor. Not a whole lot of room in these. So I should be able to accelerate that. Put the battery charger up. See if I can blast myself. It'd be fun. Well, don't know, got into the system, now it's cranking fast. So I think with the ignition system, it's probably not getting power on the ignition side anyways. I'm gonna build another jumper soon enough. The next thing is, I don't know if the ignition system on this thing works. I don't know why it was parked. At least I don't think it has points. Maybe it does have a points distributor. The distributor housings themselves are nearly identical. One just have an extra wire. It'll let me pop the cap off. It may very well have points. More than likely just wasting my time here, but I bought this as a parts motor and I don't expect it to be anything other than that. Let's see. We are at points. Cool. I'm an idiot. I just assumed that it wasn't. Because my other one, the same year, it had the photo eye in it. Points look clean. I'll disconnect my battery and see. In these systems, the points are just a trigger. Signal the CD ignition to fire, which you can, like MSD ignition systems, You can wire those up to a points distributor, and your point can be the trigger in those as well. You don't have to have an HEI distributor. That's off topic. Let you guys kind of follow along here. Kind of afraid to pop this off. Okay. Rotor bug off. Pretty black. Alright, let me go get my sandpaper. Alright, points open. Maybe. Let me get a screwdriver. I'd stick you down in here, but you're not going to be able to see. I can barely see here. All right. Should be able to wire this coil where I can kind of bypass that for a moment. You're pretty black. Kind of surprised this has points in it. It must predate the motor on my other boat by a short period of time. Try the Mortski flip. Never worked for me, but maybe it will. Got to get lucky once. Wrong size. Wrong size, Egbert. Wrong size again, Egbert. Worked though. Wasn't very tight. I'm going to take this wire off. Get all the wiring out of the loop. Okay. Okay. Alright, got my meter. Got my meter, Peter. And we will ground to there. Continuity. Some of that continuity. And that thing's hard to turn. Let me get it clean. She's ringing out. I don't know if you can hear that or not. And it's not ringing out. And that was a complete failure. Complete failure, Houston. The motor doesn't feel too minty spinning. Points are in, points are out, points are out. Okay, so my points are opening and closing. So you can put a points distributor. Just swap just that and add a automotive type coil. That's what I did on my other motor. I got mine from, I think it was in the UK. They're hard to find. Shocked this has it. It's good to know. Okay, so I'm going to clean the crap off of this. Test that very well. Just plugs were dirty, but I don't think they were dirty enough to keep it from firing. I suspect more of a problem with that. I've been wrong before, and I'd love to be wrong about this. You got a little bit of ookie on them. Again, I don't suspect enough to keep it from running. Why that motor's so hard to turn over. No mud or nothing in the carbs. I guess really the most reliable way to see if this thing has got spark would just be to pour gas and a little bit of gas in the cylinders. If she hits a lick, then I'll know she's got spark. Let me jerk the plugs out and clean them real fast. If you hear what sounds like birds, those are actually baby chicks. There's 2 of them in the box over there with their mama. The hen. They were born yesterday. Well, those plugs cleaned off instantly. They must have been pretty new. Leads me to believe this motor doesn't have a whole lot of runtime after they put the plugs in it. Probably quit running, they were just trying to shoot for the stars. Can't find my ether. Should come as no surprise. Can't find my ether, Ethel. Too bad you can't bottle gas. So gassy this morning, almost died. Almost died before I could get to work. Yeah, that plug was super clean, super quick as well. Completely ineffective. Alright, y'all gonna laugh at me if I drink gas. My hose clearly has a split somewhere. I was in Boy Scouts, but I'm clearly not prepared. It got a little in there. Thankfully, I also have a fire extinguisher handy. If this thing pops or farts, I'm gonna be shocked. And that ain't no show business there. I legitimately do not expect this to do anything. There's no reason to park a good boat unless the motor don't work. Engine, sorry, keyboard warriors can get all offended over that. Yes, I know it's not an electric motor. So just save yourself some energy and don't waste time typing on there that I'm an idiot because they called it a motor. Don't care. This bottom plug wire's got a different boot style. Wonder if that was to clear this. Huh. Learn something new every day. Okay, so we got fire in there. The points work. The starter kind of spins the motor. Hook the battery stuff back up. See if it blows up. If it would light off and spin fast like it was doing, I'd give it the best shot. A little weak, lame kind of that ain't gonna get it done. Well, I'll be darned. I'm shocked. Did you hear that? She kicked. A little puff of smoke out the bottom. I cannot believe that. That don't mean that it's a good motor though, necessarily. Now I really want to find my ether. That's nuts. I did not expect that. It made me jump. I really don't want to, if it'll start, I don't want to run it no water. Again, you keyboard warriors going to chime in, oh, you're going to destroy the impeller, bring the motor down. Just don't. I don't care. Running this thing for 4 seconds with a 40-year-old impeller in it, I really don't care. That is nuts. I cannot believe that thing lit off. Well, I guess what I'll do is pop my other set of carbs on there. They got gas in them and they're good. So I'll do that. Got my other set of carburetors. I know these are good. They've been rebuilt within the last year. I'm freaking shocked that thing hit. be awesome if the thing would run. It would give me some time and wiggle room to save up money for building the motor that I want to build for it. Not to mention, it's freaking hot outside, so it wouldn't hurt my feelings to go to the lake once or twice this year. So I just bought the registration for this thing, and then the motor acted up. So we've literally got 0 enjoyable boat trips out of this thing this year. I tend to get mad when having mechanical difficulties or something. And unlike a car or truck or anything else with wheels, you cannot just pull over and stop. Better than an airplane or a helicopter, I suppose. But growing up in a cheap family, I've been stranded on the lake quite a few times and towed back in a bunch. It's embarrassing. Fortunately, my boat's got a trolling motor, so you got 2 batteries and 2 motors, so between the gas motor and the trolling motor and 2 batteries, you should be able to make it back to the trailer. Pull this out of the way. These carburetors are probably fine, but I know the other ones are fine. Let's see. The choke is already disconnected, except for the wiring. I didn't have it choked or nothing. She lit right off. Actually, I think the plunger will pull right out of the choke. So I need to pull this linkage rod off. Ow, that's my finger. That was the old finger. These bolts are trapped right behind the throttle linkage. Brilliant design. Marine motors are kind of expensive to work on. I guess any motor is, but as far as machine shop work goes. So I'm gonna have to save up money. I am not a wealthy dude. I got a lot of toys, but I don't have any kids, and I've been buying toys since I was old enough to buy toys. So without having kids, that's kind of where my kid money has gone. I've tried to pay off everything I own. Currently, other than my house, everything I own is paid off. No, that's not easy. That's years of hard work. I paid the shop off the business this year. That was a huge achievement. Gives me a little bit more money to buy tools, and there's all kinds of really cool tools I'd love to have, but instead I've been spending that money on paying the building off. My goal, ultimately, is to have house and everything paid off at 45. Gives me how old am I? 37. So that would give me a few years to worry about that. Should be doable. I don't know how the heck did I get off a subject like that? Here I am pulling carbs off a boat, and then I'm talking about crap y'all don't care about anyways. Let's see. Etsy. I don't mean Etsy, place you buy stuff on. Hopefully this isn't too boring for y'all. I'm gonna have to edit out a bunch of boring walking around and goofing off, looking for stuff. Okay, better figure out the fuel line situation. It's got original fuel lines on it and everything. It'd be remarkable if that sucker runs. As everybody knows, getting it to run here in the shop with the little gas port in the carburetor most definitely does not mean that it would be a good run route on the lake. And I was just thinking, this thing does run, and I tell my wife it runs, guess what she's going to be wanting me to do right away? If you guys put this on the boat, you would guess right. Yeah, this little clamp's on there. I really had planned on doing some other stuff right now. Maybe I should tell my wife it doesn't run, even if it does. Save that for next year, maybe. All right. I wouldn't lie to her. I'm gonna leave that on, the rest of these off. Man, these carburetors are gummy. Everything I touch, my finger's sticking to them. Got the sticky finger. It's all right though, can't drop the nuts as easy. These are little one-barrel Tillotson carburetors. They were put on all kinds of old stuff back in the day. Don't know if they're still in business. Wouldn't know, I work on old stuff. Okay, carburetor's off. Carburetors look nice, other than being dirty. Pull the rest of this choke bracket off. Let's inspect the reed valve real quick. After I wipe this nasty off my hands. Reed valves look good, none of them are bent, mangled, out of shape. Carb gaskets look good. I was really disappointed my other motor let go. It's not locked up or anything, but it don't run either. This is a model 707HA. It's old enough that when you look up parts for old Chrysler motors, it doesn't even pop up as existing. If you look up a 70 horse motor, it shows they were only built 79 and up. Just gonna go right ahead and double stack the carburetor gaskets. All right, hit the hole. This time I'm hitting 6 holes, so give me a break. And stinking bracket is right in the way. Now my arm's right in the way. Can't see what I'm doing. Well, I'm putting a nut on the carburetor. Pretty exciting stuff. All right, put 3 on. These ones are a lot easier to get to. Put them on there. There you go. Then I'll have to put some gas in these. Probably pump it in there with my primer bulb. Got one laying around somewhere. Not gonna fool with no electric pump. Just get enough gas in there here if it'll fire and stay running for a couple of seconds. Let it run, if it'll start and run, which I think it will actually. Which I didn't think I would hear myself say this morning when I started with this. If it'll run for 20 or 30 seconds and sound okay, it guess that'll mean that I'll have to pull the motor off, the engine stand. Well, I'll probably just pull this top half and separate the old motor from the lower unit. I don't know, I might pull the bottom off of this. I don't know why my other motor had an overheat condition. Center cylinder was pretty tan. I'm not sure why. I know when I put an impeller in it that the case has some wear in it, but it's always got good water stream shooting out, so I wouldn't think that would cause a big enough problem to overheat the engine. I mean, I never run it for long periods of time at cruise settings. I mean, most of the time we go to smaller lakes where you can be all the way to the other end of the lake in 5 minutes. And I literally never run the thing wide off the throttle. So it's kind of my concern really with using anything off the old motor, not knowing what the heck caused it to melt down. Crazy thing was with that motor though is when I got it, I checked the compression and they were all like 120s, higher than this one. They were all like 120s. I think the lowest was like 118. And I checked it again after we was already having problems, and compression was nearly the same. So I don't know, but I know it was backfiring through one of the carburetors, which could be reed valve problem, but reed valves look perfect. Took them off and they're not letting any light through. So I think that burnt piston was letting pressure kick back into the cylinder. Potentially escaping out the reed valves when they were partially open still. I don't know. I'm no expert, as you guys probably have already figured out. Never claimed to be. If you want to watch an expert, watch somebody else. But I do like fiddling with stuff and learning a little bit. And apparently now talking to myself. Alright, so we got carbs on there. Need to see if I can get a little gas into them. Got a primer bulb that I changed out last year. I keep them around, you know, for siphoning gas out of fuel tanks, stuff like that. I need to hook it up to this. Like this. So I can hook it up there. It's probably the best bet. Just push it right through the fuel pumps. Stupid clamps again. Yeah, that came off. Fuel hose they made a long time ago sure is better than the garbage they're making now. These things are still relatively pliable and they're... Uh-oh, dropped a clean. And they're 50, 51 years old at this point. This is gonna hurt if that pops off. I believe I'll just cut it off. That hurt my finish elbow. I betcha when I hook the fuel bulb up and start pumping that full, that it's going to start leaking all over the place. Okay. Where is my papers? New fuel line. Primer bulb. Got the gasoline. This is all the gas I got, so I got freaking 4 gas cans. More vehicles than I care to have, and no gasoline. Pulling fuel. I hear it. think I'm going the wrong direction. Aha! Idiot. I think I'm going the wrong direction, you moron. Can't go in the exit, man. Now we're getting fuel. I keep filling up bowls. The bulb got hard. My new prediction is that it'll start. Oh hey, here's that clamper dropped. Now how do I kill it if it does? Let's move the choke. Make sure you don't ground on anything. So I'll kill it. Jerk the coil wire off if I got to. I'm not sure if it'll keep itself running with no battery. Yeah, I'll probably just jerk the coil wire off. I have a feeling I'm going to need to know what to do because I think it's going to start. Okay, that will work. Okay. Can you see everything? I'm going to pull you back. Look at the ground. All right. I think it's going to run. How good, I don't know. I do think it's going to run. Might have to squirt a little more gas into it. I don't know. So if it starts, I'm going to be running around frantically fixing to try to figure out how to kill it. Let's see. You can manually choke it here. Carb butterflies are closed. Probably ought to actually pop that linkage back on. So it might be idling too slow to actually fire. Probably just put one of these clamps on. They're going to be at a super slow idle, so it might not start. This thing runs, I reckon I just created more work for myself. Having to get the hook back going. Good start to pop in there. Oh, what you got? Alright, now rotate that back forward. It just can't be closed. Throttle can't be closed. Not like beyond what the linkage will allow closed. Okay, that should be safe. Alright. Where are my gloves? That coil wire might light me up. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. See what she does. Give her just a little choke. Chokes out adjustment. Probably shouldn't aim that motor right directly at my bodywork. And that must. Oops, that was an accident. at that. But it ran. I literally cannot believe that. My mind is literally... I got $100 for this piece of crap. It runs a lot better than the motor that's hanging on the boat. Man. I'm freaking pumped. You didn't die, I killed it on purpose. Shoot. That's nuts. This motor has a casting date of 1969. Factory ignition. That's just crazy. Well, anyways, I guess my next step is going to be to probably pull the lower unit off, see what condition the impeller housing is in. And I'll decide whether I want to use this whole thing, just drop it in, which would be faster than using what's on the boat. All I'd have to do is pull this off, leave that on the boat. I am stoked. I don't know if I want to tell my wife or not. Well, this turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Kind of probably going to be a long-winded video. It's showing like an hour and 49 minutes playing with it. I really appreciate everybody watching and following along and subscribing. Every comment I appreciate, except for keyboard warriors who know everything. I never claim to know everything, but I just wish some of the keyboard warriors could come here and help and make my job a lot easier if they know everything. But anyways, enough of that. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and share or whatever. I really do appreciate it. I enjoy doing this sort of stuff. I do it anyway, so it just takes a little more time to record it and all that. But if y'all are liking it, I'll keep doing it. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.